Valheim, an incredible survival game where you can build Viking villages, sail to the ends of the world, and fight epic enemies. A game with near infinite possibilities and so much to do. This game's good. And I mean, really good. Like, the fact that this is even a pre-access or early access game is absolutely insane to me. Welcome. Today we're going to go over the 10 reasons of why Valheim is my game of the year so far, and why you should try it. Number 1. The building system. My god. This building system is so simple, so easy to learn at a basic level, and yet has so much depth that you can truly build to an advanced level and put out these insanely gorgeous buildings all across the world. And it feels so simple, but there's just so much stuff you can do. You can change the anglings, you have different angles to work with between 26 degrees and 45 degrees. There's just so much that you can really pull off here. And if you're creative enough, this building system can do almost anything for you. The wildest part is that they're not even done yet. They're going to add an update in the near future, sometime in 2021, where they are going to improve the building system. I believe it's called Home and Hearth. So we already have insane capabilities in this game as an early access game, and they're not even done yet. They still have more things that they're going to bring out, more things that they're going to be showing us, more options that we're going to have to customize our homes and make them look better. Like, this is just the beginning, and the fact that we're already at this point gets me so excited for what the future has to bring for this game. Number 2, exploration. Not only do I just legitimately enjoy the sailing system and navigating the wind in Valheim, but it feels like there's such a reward for actually exploring all of these different islands. Due to the nature of how the map works, and the limited amount of resources such as ore in each biome, it feels like you're incentivized to explore your island and try to discover different areas that might be of value. Sometimes maybe you're just exploring to find krakens so you can get that very hilarious meme-worthy abyssal harpoon, and other times you're just trying to find areas that have a diversity of biomes. Maybe I want to find a meadows that's nearby, a swamp, plains, and mountains, so that I can quickly get different types of ores and build a base there. There's a lot of reason to explore the map. And while I may find the merchant search to be a little bit too much, and I would love for a Vegvisir to be there for him, the exploration mechanic itself is very fun, enjoyable, and rewarding. Now, admittedly, once you get further out to the map, it feels less and less rewarding. Once you discover a bunch of different biomes close to your base, you're essentially done in the current iteration, but it's an early access game. I'm not even remotely concerned about that. I think they're going to expand it, and once new biomes come into play, you're going to have a reason to go out further and further, especially since the Ashlands biome we know is only going to be on the south side of the map. So I think for an early access game, it's really as good as you could ever ask, and I look forward to what they do in the future, especially with the oceans biome upgrade, to make exploration feel even more rewarding. Number 3, the survival factors. To be honest with you, I actually kind of enjoy the survival factors. I think we've all played those more hardcore survival games where as you run out of food, you're threatened with instantaneous death, or if you get cold, you're likely to die. But Valheim is a little bit different. It relies on a system where these survival factors are less about will I immediately die, and they're more about how much can I really bear stat-wise. Your base stats are very low, and you will not be able to get through most of the game with them. So things such as food and different conditions you might be under affect your combat ability and your ability to regenerate stamina and do things more quickly. So, while I'm not going to starve, necessarily, and die and have to come back and get my gear, it will affect how I can fight things and how confident I feel fighting things. Especially if you want to chop down trees and stuff, your stamina can be important, because these activities are pretty stamina heavy. Number 4, legitimate danger. Now, let's be honest for a second. If it was a survival game and you were never actually in any danger whatsoever, it wouldn't be much of a survival game, right? So the fact that you occasionally run into these things that are legitimate threats, like I just had half of my health bar deleted because I mistimed something, it's legitimately scary. And it provides a very fun aspect where I might actually die. Even as someone who has played video games for most of my life, like this is not going to just be some walk in the park where I can steamroll some of the stronger enemies in the game. I actually have to take them seriously and respect them. Now, not only does this make me respect the game and kind of get more enjoyment out of it because I have to actually take it seriously, but when you finally do beat these things, it feels more rewarding. If I was just going to roll through the game, it wouldn't really feel that rewarding getting maybe the troll leather armor. I wouldn't feel like I've accomplished anything. And if you've ever experienced some of the more late game invasions, and honestly, if your base has ever been invaded, period, you know that thrill when you think, oh crap, what am I going to do? How am I going to fight all of these enemies at the same time that are overwhelming my base? The sort of difficulty of this, like, legitimate danger coming at you really gives you a perspective and makes the game more enjoyable as a game in the survival series. Number 5, consequences of death. Now, I know that some people might think, why is that a good thing? But the truth is that the ability to die and have consequences for actually dying kind of raises the stakes of the game. If every single time you ended up dying, it would just be like, oh, I died again. Oh, well. The game wouldn't really have an impact, especially not as a game in the survival series. The fact that you can die in a really, really non-opportune location and be incredibly inconvenienced, either yourself or have to have a teammate boat you back to your location, it really raises the stakes of the game. It makes all of these little combats so much more significant, because if I go fight that troll and I end up dying to him, I gotta come all the way back over here from my base, which is all the way over here. And my boat's right here. I'm gonna have to go build a second boat, take that second boat all the way around to get my first boat to get myself. And it's these things, it's the raising the stakes of the game that kind of makes these little moments valuable. It makes it so that I'm not just idly playing and getting bored and not feeling like any real pressure or consequences for my action. I actually feel like every moment I'm in this game, I'm in a survival game. Because if I get complacent or I make one mistake or if I try to fight a troll with no food active, which by the way, I do way more often than I'd like to admit, then I could have a 20-minute penalty trying to get back to my body. These consequences, I know it sounds weird, it makes the game better. It makes the game worth it. It makes you actually care about what you're doing at all times. And while filming that, I accidentally got too close to the planes, and 2 Deathsquitos came over and murdered me. Oh, I regret saying everything I just said. At this point in the video, I switched to a different character because I did not feel like running back to my body yet. Consequences of death. The positive. We. Number 6. The progression system. Valheim is ingeniously designed so that each biome has its own specific mechanic, and then end boss, which enables you to get to the following biome. So for example, when you start in the meadows, you collect some basic gear, and you get your deer trophies so that you can fight Eikthyr and unlock the antler pickaxe. Now, the antler pickaxe allows you to mine copper and tin, which then allows you to create bronze and advance through the dark forest biome and fight the elder. Now, once you fight the elder, you will get a swamp key. Now, this swamp key allows you to open up the dungeons in the swamp, which allows you to get iron and get even stronger gear and progress further into the game. Then, after beating Bone Mass, You get the wishbone, which allows you to find iron in the swamp, but also allows you to find silver in the mountain biome. And of course, after you beat Motor, you get Tears, and those allow you to build the crafting materials which are needed for the planes to create their respective ore and armor. So this progression system requires you to advance through each individual biome, play through the content, build the gear to fight the boss, and upon beating the boss, you then are enabled to unlock the content of the next biome. It is a very smooth feeling of progression, and it's gated in numerous ways. It's gated in the kind of gear that you can make, the level of your workbench. So for example, some items you won't be able to upgrade until your workbench is improved, and these upgrades require you to beat the bosses and discover new materials in the next biome. So the entire game kind of moves together in a forward direction where you enhance your base, your gear, and your ability to explore by obtaining stronger items through your better base and better gear. This actually smoothly transitions us into number 7, the balance of the game. The balance of the game is very delicately woven. You have a couple different premises that you're kind of working around. One is your base building, the building of your infrastructure, of your workbenches, your forge, your ability to smelt and create very powerful gear, all the way to your farming capabilities to produce high-level food. Now, the 3 primary aspects that I consider of the game is 1, the base building aspect, 2, the sort of combat enhancement aspect, and 3, the exploration aspect. Now, as you build your basics of your base, you enhance your ability to make stronger gear. With this stronger gear, you'll be able to go out into the world and go into more dangerous biomes, such as the mountain biome, the swamp biome, and the plains biome. You will also rely on your base to produce high-level foods using some of the food you might have in here, so turning lox meat into cooked lox meat and eventually into lox meat pie, turning entrails into sausages, and etc. Now, exploration has its own value, because as you explore, you will eventually find the merchant, who is incredibly valuable, as he will give you the Mesenjord belt and expand your weight capacity. And exploration also allows you to find just more convenient resources. So your starter island is usually not the best. It's usually mostly meadows, dark forest, and maybe a small little mountain biome. But as you get stronger gear and your base advances, you can then move and you can find better setups of biome. So all of these factors kind of work together, and you can't really expand in one direction too quickly. If you just go out and start exploring the more dangerous areas, the plains and the swamps will absolutely destroy you. And to even enter into the mountains, you're going to need to build some gear, which will require you to advance your base and your crafting capabilities. So there are a lot of different roles you can play, and all need to be done, but you can choose your favorite role, and as long as you find a balance to sustain that role and keep your gear up and your food up so that you can do whatever it is you want, you can really choose. Number 8, the polish? Okay, hold up. You can't be serious right now. This is an early access game that I got off Steam, and you're trying to tell me this game is this polished? Like, that's just absurd to me. That is wild. That is wild. To be honest with you, I mean, yes, of course I've seen some bugs, but you compare this game to some fairly, like, expensive, high-level, quote-unquote, full-release games, this game holds up. And a lot of the bugs that I found have already been patched out. To be honest with you, I sometimes think this game is in better condition than a lot of the fully released games, even the ones from big AAA companies. So I've been very impressed so far. The amount of polish on this game already in early access is just absolutely absurd in my personal opinion. Number 9, the price. I'll be straight with you, I enjoyed this game more than a lot of other games that I have paid full price for this year. Right now on Steam, this game in its early access was only $20. And this has an overwhelmingly positive review, 96% from 154,000 reviews. All it cost was $20, and I don't even want to show you my hours in this game. It is absurd to me how a game that was this cheap has provided me that many hours of fun. Like, this is a rare feat. And I have to say, like, this might have been the best $20 game that I have ever bought. And finally, number 10, the future. So the developers over at Iron Gate have already released some future updates that they are planning. I could go much more in depth than I am at now, but they are planning on improving the home building and cooking aspects of the game. They're going to have expansions for exploration and combat. They are going to try to increase what is in the ocean biome, as well as implement the new Mistlands biome, which we assume is going to be very spider-based, based on the number of webs that are there. And this is just for the year 2021. They have an entire wish list that they're looking into. The fact that they have a sort of list of items, and the list of items is modest, which what that says to me is that they're being very reasonable about what they believe they can accomplish, and they're being very sort of measured in what they're going to do. And that, to me, as someone who works in this sort of area of software development, I feel good about that. I feel good when they're not trying to overpromise, and they're actually looking at things pretty reasonable. So I'm very excited about the future, and I found this list on PC Games. I'm excited. I feel like I'm already so satisfied with this initial product, like even as an early release. I'm very excited to see what they have coming and looking forward to it. But yeah, that'll wrap it up for today. These are the 10 reasons why this is my personal game of the year, and if you have not played this game yet, please try it. It really is worth it. I have had such a blast. Best $20 I've spent in 2021, probably best $20 I've spent in a couple years, so make sure you try it, and as usual, if you like this video, slap the like button. Be sure to hit subscribe so you can see more content like this. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you guys next time.